An asteroid is now moving on a direct path toward Earth. At first, experts believed that it would not miss us, but they have made a number of significant errors in their predictions. At this very moment, it is moving in the direction of our enormous blue marble. Where do we go from here? This may sound like a humorous hypothetical situation, but the prospect of an asteroid crashing into Earth is not something to be laughed at. That might take place. Since the year 2029, scientists have speculated that the asteroid 99942, sometimes referred to as Apophis, could potentially strike the planet Earth. In 2004, Apophis was discovered, and ever since then, researchers have been keeping a close eye on both of these phenomena. At a certain point in time, research indicated that there was a 2.7% possibility that the asteroid would strike Earth. Since then, new calculations have predicted that the asteroid will speed by Earth at a distance of 30,000 kilometers by 18,641 miles. Yes, I am aware that this is a frightening prospect. The Moon is located at a distance of 380,000 kilometers, 236121 miles, which means that this asteroid will be quite close to the Moon. For the time being, however, it won't be striking us. It is possible for computations to be incorrect, of course. Let's assume that they are in this particular instance. Moreover, Apophis is approaching Earth in a manner that is well ahead of schedule. This is the year that the asteroid is going to strike us. Alright, let's take a look at the situation we're in. The circumference of Apophis is 340 meters, 1,115 feet. This is a taller structure than the Eiffel Tower, for your reference. Is it the most hostile asteroid that the Earth has ever encountered? To our extreme good fortune, it is not even close. It was assumed that the Chicxulub asteroid, which completely wiped out the dinosaurs, had a width of between 10 and 15 kilometers, 6.2 to 9.3 miles. The situation we find ourselves in presently involves Chicxulub's younger sibling. What exactly does that imply for us, then? As a result of this influence, will mankind become extinct? So, I'll elaborate on it in a moment. First things first, let's take a look at whether or not there is any possibility that we can stop this asteroid. The first thing that needs to be done is to identify the asteroid, which is something that we have already done. We are aware of the size of Apophis and that it is traveling at approximately 30 kilometers per hour, 18 miles per hour. Now we are going to talk about the possible defensive actions that we could take. At this same moment, there are two individuals that are being investigated. The kinetic impactor is one of the examples of these. In order to accomplish this, a spaceship will be sent into collision with the asteroid. In the hopes of altering its velocity and trajectory, everything was done. As a result of the fact that NASA has conducted several successful tests using this technology, this is an alternative. A gravity tractor would be the next type of tractor to be considered. When flying close to the asteroid, a big spacecraft would be present. The gravitational force of the asteroid would gradually cause the route of the asteroid to vary over time. On the list of available choices, laser ablation comes in second. There is a possibility that some lasers may be utilized to vaporize portions of the surface of the asteroid. The asteroid would not be destroyed by this, but it may change its course, as well as its size and the effect it would have. And finally, but most certainly not least, there is the last conceivable nuclear option. You are absolutely correct. We have the option of using nuclear weapons against Apophis as a last resort. The enormous size of the asteroid, in addition to the limited amount of time we have before it strikes us, is a significant factor. Perhaps this is the only choice available. However, you shouldn't be too hasty to press that red button. There may be significant consequences associated with nuking an asteroid. It is possible that it will cause the asteroid to rupture into smaller pieces. After then, there would be dozens of other minor asteroids and meteors heading toward Earth, which would make the impact even more deadly. Furthermore, these would not be simple asteroids in the traditional sense. They would be radioactive as a result of the nuclear weapon. Not only would this imply that substantial portions of the world would be struck by meteors and asteroids, but it would also mean that they would be exposed to radiation levels that are only seen during nuclear warfare. So, what is the most advantageous choice in this situation? Well, it's difficult to make a decision. Let me to give this some thought for a moment. Alas, it is far too late at this point. We wasted too much time trying to figure out what to do, and now the Apophis are going to arrive any moment now. Prepare yourselves well. This is due to the fact that the asteroid crashed somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, which means that you would not be able to get a decent view at the impact. Considering that the majority of the surface of the Earth is composed of water, this is the most likely location for an asteroid to touch down. So it's possible that you won't see the impact, but you will definitely be aware of it. The impact of the asteroid's collision with our planet would be just as deadly as the explosion of many thousand nuclear bombs, albeit with a significantly lower level of radiation. This would result in the formation of a crater at the bottom of the ocean that is as wide as 1 kilometer. What follows would be much more catastrophic than what has already occurred. There would be gigantic tsunamis that would rage all across the Earth as a result of the massive collision. The impact of Apophis would be felt by communities along the Pacific coast many hours after the asteroid comes down. At speeds comparable to those of a plane, the tsunamis would travel across the Pacific Ocean. Some locations in North and South America, such as California, Peru, and Chile, would be subject to waves that are quite tall. Waves that are greater than 30 meters, 100 feet, in height are anticipated to be produced by the asteroid because of the energy it generates. These waves, which are rather large, are the cause of one of the most devastating tsunamis that have ever occurred. In 2004, Southeast Asia was struck by a tsunami that produced waves that were more than 30 meters, 100 feet, tall, resulting in the deaths of more than 230,000 people. On the other hand, rather of waves of this nature reaching only a few countries, this would be a calamity that would affect the entire world. At the same time that these tsunamis would strike the Americas, they would also strike Japan, Australia, and the Philippines. The impact would have a devastating effect on each of these locations. These types of tsunamis have the potential to claim the lives of millions of people. That is the result that would occur if an asteroid were to strike the ocean. However, what would happen if it were to strike the land? To begin, the impact crater would be significantly more important than the other effects. It is common knowledge that the impact crater left behind by an asteroid can be anywhere from 10 to 20 times larger than the asteroid itself. And at this point, there is no water available to cushion the blow. The width of the crater might be as huge as 7 kilometers, 4.3 miles, and its depth could be greater than 1 kilometer, 0.6 miles. This crater has the potential to be so large that it might completely destroy entire cities, depending on where it lands. In the event of an initial hit, a large shockwave would be generated, which would travel for hundreds of kilometers. This has the potential to completely demolish buildings and cause significant damage to infrastructure. Massive amounts of dust and debris would be released into the atmosphere as a result. It is possible that it will get so severe that it will trigger and affect winter. The temporary obstruction of the sun by a dust cloud would be the source of this phenomenon, which would result in the death of crops and flora, leading to an even greater number of victims. An event of this nature may extend for several weeks or months and constitute a catastrophe for the ecology as a whole. It is possible that millions of people will be murdered as a result of this entire event, both during and after it, depending on the location where the asteroid crashes. We can only hope that a collision between an asteroid and a human being will occur at a distance that is as far away from humanity as feasible. In contrast, the good news is that even if Apophis were to make an impact in some way, it would not result in a widespread extinction of species like the Chicxulub asteroid did for the dinosaurs. In spite of the fact that the event would be extremely distressing and result in a large number of casualties, the entirety of humanity would survive to see another day. Alright, now that we've made it through that, what comes next? To what extent does the future of humanity appear to consist?